Hello, ladies, and welcome back to episode number 132 of Lead Up for Women, Speak Up to Lead Up. I am your host, Colleen Biggs, and I am super excited to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by the one and only Julie Jones with the Adventure of Julie Jones and the Get Shit Done coaching platform. Are you an entrepreneur who would like to get more done, to be more productive and be more effective in communication without losing your sanity? Julie provides one-to-one coaching, workshops, speaking memberships, all customized for your specific needs. There is no cookie cutter approach here when it comes to you living your best life. Are you ready to get serious about taking action with your life and business? Are you ready to move to the next level? Take action now and visit Julie Jones' website at www.juliejones.biz to book your free 30-minute call with her. I love me some Julie Jones, and I know so many others do. So again, ladies, welcome back today. And I hope that you are all experiencing exactly what I'm experiencing this time of year, which is cooler weather, sweaters, boots, pumpkin pie, and gratitude. This is the time of year where I am excited about why I built Lead Up for Women. I am grateful for the women in this community. And if you want to find out more about how you can be promoted, be seen, be heard, and be visible, please be sure to jump over to Lead Up for Women at leadupforwomen.com or follow us on all of our social media pages. Wow, do I have a special treat for all of you today. Michelle Boule is here with us to share her genius in manifesting your visions with more confidence. Who doesn't want to manifest our dreams with confidence? I feel like that is a big piece on how manifestation works. So let me first introduce our guest, and then we'll go ahead and dive right in with her. Michelle Boule is a transformational business and life coach who helps compassionate business owners and creative entrepreneurs all over the world clarify and manifest their visions with more confidence, impact, and alignment toward their truth. She runs a multi-six-figure coaching business, offering online group programs, private coaching, speaking, in-person retreats, and teaching. Her work draws from over 20 years of practice in somatic therapies, energy medicine, mindset psychology, spirituality, and her award-winning international career in dance. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is such a pleasure to have you on the show today, especially talking about manifestation, the impact we can have, what it takes to be able to do that. And Michelle, I know you didn't come out of the womb as a transformational coach. Something happened in your life. So let's go back to dance, because before we started today's episode, you talked to me a little bit about how a dance is alignment, right? So let's talk about dance. When you were in dance, did you realize any of that while you were learning how to dance? What was your life like back then?
Yes, I would be so happy to talk about this. And I also just want to say that I love that you said you didn't pop out of the womb doing what, I can't remember exactly what you said, but I always say that. I'm like, you didn't pop out of the womb singing arias or doing pirouettes. It's like, you're kind of like a messy blob, you needed people to take care of you. So, and you had to learn through mistakes. So dance for me was just something that I started when I was, my parents, I thought it was 5, but now they say 3 or 4. And I kept doing it and doing it well. But I also got injured, and that started happening when I was about 13. I had surgery on both of my feet. I kept going. At 16, I tried to be a ballerina, which was not the type of dancing that really suited me. And I got injured. It hurt to walk. I couldn't walk without pain. 16 years old. And I had been dancing, after school from 4 to 8 or 9 p.m. every single day, all day on Saturday. And it was just something that I had devoted a lot of time to. The thing I had to learn, or got to learn through dancing, was that all the disappointments and injuries were actually the opportunities for me to grow. So that just kind of became part of my being. And it was after running into situations where people are like, we don't know how to help you. like your body's not made for dancing. Even my parents, who love me and they're great, they just didn't know. And like some part of me really wanted to make this happen. And I think for business owners, it's like, what is that part of you that really wants to make this happen? So I started to think to myself, as I learned more about how the body functions and how it aligns, how can I make myself available for the thing that wants to move through me, the choreography, the greatness, the energy? And so I started practicing that, dancing since I was 5, but really consciously learning in a different way when I was about 18. Well, yeah, 18. And it just like, I nerded out. I was like, I want to know everything I can about this. I studied a lot of different somatic body modalities, ways to work more efficiently. And all of those things, they live in the body, but they're a reflection of something that a person believes in their mind. So that just became a practice for me. And I think the confidence is also realizing that you're going to make a lot of mistakes. You're going to have people telling you that you shouldn't do this. You're going to fall on your face. You're going to get hurt. Someone else might be hurt from what you're doing. So it's like, where is the truth inside of all of this that can support you to lead and be the person that you're here to be?
Yeah, I agree with that. All the pieces of things that happen along the way in our past, all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the skill sets, all the times we fell, all the failures, all the successes built who we are today. And then we get to choose where we step moving forward. And I know so many women believe that their dreams and what they desire is beyond their reach. What tell me about that, Michelle, when you're working with your clients? That's a very common fact with female entrepreneurs, especially.
Yeah, I'm going to say something really simple that might seem too simple, but as a person comes to understand the truth of this, the path appears, and it's that it's already here. And if it's something that is out there, usually a person is doing that or has that mentality because they don't think they're enough already.
Mm-hmm.
So part of that, I was just working with a group that I was coaching, and the thing, like even with something like weight, well, I gain this weight, I make it, the person makes it mean something bad about themselves. It's like, it doesn't mean anything. How did you gain it? Like, did you have fun eating the food, or, like whatever? Just, so it's just like, how do I want to cycle this back in? It's already here. And it's like, as a person, it's almost like if the dream is out here, if you're seeing it out there, how do you come to the awareness that you are already that person? The only reason you could imagine it is because you are on the frequency of that image, of that vision. So then it's like, then the growth is, what do you have to do? Who do you have to be to allow that to come out of you? Because it's not out there, it's inside. So that's like just a very simple way to start looking at it. Of course, we could talk about that for about 15 weeks, or 15 years.
Yeah.
But I think just as a person starts to see that can start to like lead to the next awareness.
I completely agree. And, in our business meetings that we have and webinars that we have, we talk a lot about, stop looking for the silver bullet. Stop looking for the one thing outside of you that is going to be the one factor. And I see women waste a lot of money on hiring digital marketing agencies. And this person told me they're going to be able to help me put my courses together. And that's going to be what changes everything for me. But if you're not sound here in yourself, you don't believe in yourself already, you're already not selling your products because you're not passionate enough and sure enough of yourself and have that confidence to get out there to sell that product, realize that you're offering that opportunity to someone that needs that opportunity. If you're not already taking those steps, that person you're hiring to help you with that course, that's not going to be the silver bullet that creates the business that you're looking for. It's not going to be the path of manifestation that you're like, I'm manifesting a course. No, I'm glad you said that, Michelle. We need to look within inside of ourselves. And how do women, in your practice, how do women take those steps to start looking within inside of themselves to realize that they have what they need already? How do you get them to that place?
Yeah, sometimes there's this great quote, Leland Van Vanderwall. I don't know if you know this quote. I'm going to paraphrase it. Is that the degree to which a person can grow is directly proportional, you know this one, to their ability to see their truth and not run away. So, sometimes that truth is that they just say, "This is what I want." Sometimes that truth is seeing all the ways that they're self-sabotaging. And instead of like, let me go find the person, like you were saying, that can take care of this for me, even if it's the digital marketing person, you got to get to the root. Like, yeah, there's some self-sabotage there, and it's okay. Like, we're all doing that. And I think this thing, like people think, and I've done it too, that we need to be confident first. The confidence actually comes through the repeated attempts in building a new experience and a new result. So, people say, well, and what's stopping you? I'm not confident enough. I'm like, okay, get out there, do it, and just the more you go out there, I use this example because it's happened to me where I'm like, oh, I finally made the social media post. Like, I did it, the thing I'd been resisting. And I look at it and I have a piece of kale in my teeth. And I'm like, you know what? Just put it out there. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just so it's like, is that going to kill me? No, maybe someone will get a laugh. Maybe someone will judge it. I don't know, but at least I got the message out there. And it's sometimes it's that perfectionism too, that really holds people back.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you mentioned that because, we need to be able to start before we're ready, right?
Mhm.
And starting before you're ready, that's going to change a lot. When you start before you're ready, that's getting yourself out there before you built that confidence, right? So think about that, ladies. What is bugging you right now that you really want to do, but you just don't feel like you're quite ready to do it? Get a date on it, get it out there. If it's recording a video, start the recording. I can't tell you how many women would say to me, oh, it took me like 5 takes to get that video to get it out there. And I say, one take's all it takes me, because if I mess up in the middle, I mess up in the middle. But why do we think reality TV is so popular? It's because people just want to see you. They want you. They don't want the perfect you. They just want you, your knowledge, your experience, your skills. They're the ones praying, waiting for you, because you're the one that's going to be able to talk to their soul. You're the one that they're going to trust, know, and like. And they're the ones that are going to hire you because they're connecting with you. So important to just show up authentically, give yourself that permission, because then you automatically, without even knowing, give the permission to those around you to do the same. Let's dig in a little bit, Michelle. You've got a lot of practice behind you in somatic therapies, energy medicine, mindset psychology. Talk to me a little bit about some of those and how those have really supported you in your journey in assisting others.
Yeah, I'll give a good example that was very transformative for me in my early 20s. And it was studying something called body mind centering, which looks at developmental patterns that babies go through and how those relate to how a person shows up later in life. So I was working with a practitioner and we were on the floor. I was on my belly. All she had me doing was reach for the red ball and bring it towards myself. And that's a developmental pattern. A baby's on the ground, she's yielding. She builds up enough strength to push. She builds up enough strength to reach and grab and bring the thing back to her and yield. So if we relate that to like if a person is missing any part of that journey, it shows up in their life. For me, it was hard to bring the thing to me. So literally, when I did that pattern, I started crying. It was just like, oh my God, I had never really consciously brought the thing to me and let myself have it. So you can see this pattern. If a person, if someone always gave, they say this like with moms, if you're always giving something to your child, you're like spoon feeding them constantly, they never learn to reach out in life and to take that risk of expanding because everything's always coming to them. So I don't really like do that. If I'm teaching a dance class, maybe we'll go through that patterning, or if I'm working with a group in person, we might go through that. But just seeing those, like for, 2.5 decades, studying all of that work, and then just letting it, when I'm working with a business owner, there's a consciousness behind all of that. So even when you said earlier, just one take, ladies, I love that you said that, because the consciousness behind doing 10 or 20 takes if that's I'm not enough, you're going to be doing 2000 takes,
Mhm.
but you made a decision like, this is good enough. It's good. Let's go. That's a very different consciousness that's creating a different reality. The video is the same, but the energy is different. And you have so much more time in your life and you can move forward to the next best thing. So that's one way. It's just like when I was also watching people dancing, I wasn't interested in what they could do. Like, oh my God, that person did this amazing trick. I was always interested in what's behind that, because you can really see it. When a person is aligned and they're allowing something greater to move through them, people are like, look at that person. And I know for myself personally, when I was on stage and I would get like, do a 90-minute piece where I'm on stage the whole time. But if I was aligned, I would be more energized afterwards. And I remember my partner at the time with this one performance, we did the performance, or I did this, it was a 75-minute performance. I'm on stage the whole time. It was like a marathon. And he said, at the end of that performance, every woman stood up as soon as you took your bow. It's just like, it's like we see it and we know it. And it doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you're wearing, what you're doing. There's something that we resonate with. And I think that's really what we're looking for. A person who is in that increase and who's like trusting their value, and they're willing to share it, because we know intrinsically that they're contributing, they're giving, and they're also receiving and connected in to be able to keep showing up as exactly who they are.
Yeah. And we can't deny, and Michelle has already mentioned this, and you guys have heard this probably 100 shows out of 132 shows. We all have gremlins that show up and that are going to get in your mind and start messing with your belief in yourself. And that generally happens at a level that you start feeling uncomfortable. So you have your comfortable level. And when you're really good at something like driving, you don't have any naysayers in your head or gremlins that show up when you're driving to Safeway to get some groceries that you're a bad driver. You don't know how to drive. You don't even know how to, push on the gas pedal. You're terrible. You don't know how to take care of your car. None of that shows up for us while we're driving. However, a teenager who's brand new learning how to drive is probably going to have a lot of those gremlins show up testing her while she's a first time driver, because she's unsure of herself. She's still learning how to do it. She's expanding, learning new skills, learning new confidence. So when you hit that level and you're learning new skills, you're building some new confidence levels, you're going in uncharted territory that could be a little scary for you. Those gremlins show up. And when those gremlins show up, they're just a reminder. I actually acknowledge them now and say, thank you for showing up. I know now I am starting to move into uncharted territory. And this is where I get to grow. I get bored if I'm not in growth mode. Sounds like you do too, Michelle.
Well, there was a study that was done when they started making playgrounds safer, much safer for kids, and the kids stopped playing on them, because kids know also they're in such high development and growth, especially their nervous systems. And they're like, this isn't going to help me grow. They're not like analyzing the thing. They're just like, this isn't hard. I want something that helps me expand. We learn to not expand, but it's our future.
I have to tell you, I had my 7-year-old grandson sitting next to me 2 nights ago.
Mhm.
And we were watching People Are Awesome on TV. And if those of you that haven't watched that show, check it out. It's just this loop of people doing awesome stuff. It's really good. And then they have like fails and things like that. So it's funny as well. But we're watching it, and these kids were swinging on these monkey bars and flipping off of them and doing all the things I remember trying while I was in recess, back in the 70s, early 70s or whatever it was, because I'm dating myself. That's fine. I have a 7-year-old grandson sitting next to me. And I said, Avi, why don't you try that at recess tomorrow? He said, oh, are you crazy, Grandma? Do you know how much trouble I would get in? And I thought to myself, we are not allowing, society and culture are not allowing those children to risk, to they're like you said, creating those safe environments, but those safe environments aren't allowing adventure and risk taking skills. The only way that we learn how to fail is by taking the risks and failing at a very, young age. That's why when I worked with the company, the Little Gym International, for so many years, we created businesses for children where they could come and take risks on bars and gymnastics equipment, and we would constantly challenge them, but in a very safe and nurturing environment where they would learn how to fall safely, right?
Yeah.
But we knew they were going to fall. We knew they were going to fall. We just taught them how to do it safely, and then we would challenge them for them to take those risks. And even a child that is 10 months old will take a risk if you present it to them.
They know that that's how they live.
Yeah.
And it's what's interesting. I think this is so key is if you look at your grandson was talking about shame. So somewhere he got shamed, like getting in trouble was shameful. And a kid thinks I'm bad. Like that's what they think it is. It's not, they're not given context to understand. So then that shame becomes self-regulating. So then he doesn't even have to try, it's just like, he already knows I'm not going to do this. Are you kidding me, grandma? It's just like, so that's a fascinating thing. And I think a huge part of building confidence is looking at where that shame and guilt is coming from, not even where it's coming from also, but understanding it and then making a huge commitment to let it go and to live your life, not according to shame, but according to who you are and what you desire.
Yeah. So I think Michelle said it best. If you really want to manifest your dreams and manifest, the visions that you have with the confidence, we need to master ourselves before we can master the things that we're working on, honestly. And you've got to get to the root cause of why is it that you always stall to pull the trigger on things? What is it that's caused you to do that? And I always say, we need to shed things out like we're an onion. And reminder, this is a reminder alert, beep, beep. People around you will cling to those layers. They're going to continue clinging to those layers as you shed them because they haven't grown yet and they're still stagnant and wanting you to be that same person. But the only way we grow is to shed those layers. And if you're not shedding those and unpacking that stuff, it gets really heavy. It's like pulling a 500-pound cement ball through quicksand. It's
Yeah.
impossible to do,
That onion is going to spoil. It's
I
going to
love
rot.
that. I love that. It is going to rot. And so do you stay where you're at? Or do you work on the things that are holding you back? Because even though you're sitting there going, but I'm manifesting and I'm manifesting and I'm waiting for all my clients to come to me and I'm waiting for that car and that money to just drop into my bank account because it's got tumbleweeds in it. What's happening? There's work that needs to be done in that and getting to the root cause. And I have a feeling Michelle is going to be that person that can help you get through that. So Michelle, talk to me a little bit more about how you work with your clients, why one of my listeners would be interested in working with you, and who would be an ideal client for you right now.
Yeah. I mean, I often attract people who know there's something more. They're tapped into, I know there's something greater out there for myself, because that's what it was for me. And I didn't quite know how it was going to manifest, but I took a big risk. I invested more money than I ever had with a coach because I also knew intrinsically that part of it was making more money. But I had to go through all of my value judgments around money, but money allowed me to have freedom. It allowed me to have more time. It allowed me to develop self-trust, and it allowed me within 6 months to 350 times my income, and within 2 years to 10 times it. So it's for the person who's committed and ready. It's like that there's something more and you're ready to do it. You've done some of your self-development work already, but there's just something in your thinking. There's something that's out of alignment. It's like I can come in like a chiropractic mindset coach and just see, oh, look, this is actually sending you in this direction. So I've been working with a lot of creatives, as you said in my intro, but people who want more time, they want more money, they know that there's something that they're supposed to be doing, and how do they step in alignment to do that? And mostly I do work with business owners and whatnot, but I definitely work with moms. Like I had a mom whose girls they were starting to get anxious. And it was because she, like that developmental pattern I was talking about,
Yeah.
She was kind of doing everything for them. She wasn't setting up boundaries. So a lot of times I'm looking at universal laws and how you're thinking. Are you thinking out of alignment? How can I help a person start to take action and behave and create new experiences? Because like what you said, if a person's like, oh, I'm manifesting, I'm manifesting. It's like, no, you're not. You didn't make the phone call. You didn't post the thing. You didn't find a prospective client. It won't come. That's ignoring the law of cause and effect. And there's no judgment because we get delivered this kind of information from the day we're born. We're not always taught that this creates this, or just the ways of thinking that align towards success. So I do have a free audio on my website, which is michelleboule.com, and you'll see it's called Realign Towards Your Dreams. And that's a great start to just see the principles that I'm working with. I'm also on Instagram at michelle.boule, Facebook, Michelle Boule, LinkedIn, YouTube. This is what I look like. Look for the picture of me and please follow me and let me know if there's a way I can help you. I'd be honored to see what I can do to help you live into the life you desire.
That's great, Michelle. We need more of you out there. And I know that every woman that you're touching, you're helping her have an impact on her family, her children. Ladies, this is the only way we change the future for us. If we continue to raise the next generation exactly the way we were raised, or our grandmas were raised, and our great grandmas were raised, but yet we want to see women have equal pay. Yet we want to see women step up and make 6 and 7 figures in their businesses and start more businesses and change the landscape of what women look like in business. Yet if we're not willing to change today, we're never going to be able to change tomorrow. So you have to really look at how are you being that example and modeling, because your children and everybody around you, even if you don't have children or aren't around them, everyone around you is watching you more than they are listening to you. So are you walking the talk? Are you talking the talk? Are you living the life? Are you being true to yourself and fulfilling your desires based on where you want your life to be? We are never promised tomorrow. We only have today. So what are you going to do with that? What choice are you going to make? I say you get your little fingers working here and you click on that link and go get that free audio that Michelle has for you and get in her community. Learn more about her and how she can guide you on the journey that you need. So Michelle, thank you again for being with us today. It was just amazing having you as a guest. And ladies, you've got to work on yourself if you want to manifest the vision and be that confident leader that you're
Thank
looking to be in your life.
Thanks for having me, Colleen. It's a gift, right? We get to work on
Yeah.
ourselves, and it's a
Yes.
gift that, like, it's not selfish. It actually is a gift to yourself and everyone else.
Absolutely. Thank you, Michelle. And remember, ladies, you are the only you that has ever been. You are the only you that will ever be. So how you navigate your future is up to you. So be you and be strong. And until next week, we'll see you soon. Bye-bye now, ladies.